Hello, I'm Mayor Bob Keller, and you're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Hi, I'm Evan Thomason. Thank you for joining us for another edition of This Week in Santa Clarita. Today we're going to take a close-up look at the California Bear Project in our continuing series over at the Canyon Theater Guild. We're also going to take a quick look back at Teen Scene Unplugged that happened last week at the Hyatt Valencia. But first we're going to head to the streets of Old Town New Hall and Jeff Barber, who is covering the City of Santa Clarita Street Art Festival.
Hi, this is Jeff Barber with the City of Santa Clarita. We're here at our annual Street Art Festival in downtown Newhall. We'll be here Saturday and Sunday, and you can see behind me, artists are working away, and some of them got here on Friday to get a head start. We're going to catch up with one of our art groups in town called Prox Art, and they're at the Pop Art Block. So Nate, tell me how you started Prox Art, the history behind the beginnings of it, and why you started this organization.
I have a group of friends that we hang out, and we for a long time we would just discuss art, and we would talk through things that we were working on and ideas that we had, and we found it to be really helpful that we had a community of people that kind of had the same ideas, maybe not the same expression of those ideas, but the same ideas, and we thought it would be a cool idea. It would be cool to take the concept of creating a community of artists and expand that to include most people within the Santa Clarita Valley. So the whole idea behind Prox Art isn't necessarily to, I mean, while we do spotlight artists and we do give certain artists a little bit more time and energy, the idea behind Prox Art is definitely more that that artists get to know one another and don't feel like they have to travel to Hollywood to see and experience good art.
Casey, tell me how you became an artist.
Well, being an artist is something that I just always have been. It's kind of something that you're born with, I think. You just have something inside of you, and the way that you want to express yourself, and for me particularly, is through visual arts, but I just feel the need to do it. It's not something that I really became. My niche, I think, is painting, and I started painting early on in high school, and that's when I started really developing techniques and stuff like that.
Okay, so in high school was when you kind of realized that you wanted to paint and be creative and express yourself that way, right?
Right, that's when I really started pursuing painting.
And what inspires your art now?
Generally the human condition, just thinking about futility and watching people live their lives and what they live their lives for and the meaning of life and how different people interpret that and how I interpret that is what inspires me to paint.
And tell us about the painting.
The painting is called Fitter Happier. It is based off of a Radiohead song called Fitter Happier on their OK Computer CD. And the feeling that they're trying to convey in that song is a sense of franticness that people feel living their day-to-day lives, trying to live up to social expectations that are constantly changing, that aren't necessarily their preferences, but they try to gel their preferences to social norms and futility that's involved in that. And the way that I decided to portray that was not with the general ideas of popularity that maybe people would try to conform to, but rather I took a book of photography of punk scenes, like kids on the punk scene, who generally, if you saw them walking down the street, they would look different than other people, like wearing lots of plaid, or they have big hair, or weird makeup, or mohawks and stuff like that. But as you look through the photography book, they all also look the same. They're all trying to conform to a social norm. So I cut them out into figures of like a bathroom character, like the character you see on the outside of a bathroom door, how they all look the same, and I cut all of them out that way and put them in the background of the lyrics that are throughout the painting to try and convey that everyone is striving after some kind of normality or some kind of acceptance.
Here at the Street Art Festival in downtown Newhall, we have a variety of activities, opportunities for families. We have our community stage where there's a variety of groups performing, dancing, singing, various cultures represented there. We have a lot of activities for kids, including hat making. And then, of course, there's the beautiful block of street art where we have artists painting away both on Saturday and Sunday. Our pop art block represents a lot of the eclectic art, both art groups and other types of art that go on in the city and beyond. And overall, it's a wonderful day, and it's too hot.
Thanks, Jeff, for that look back at the Santa Clarita Street Art Festival. Last week, on September 24th, the city held its 8th annual Teen Scene Unplugged event at the Hyatt Valencia. The event was attended well and gave parents and teens both an insight into the teenage brain. The evening started off with a resource fair offering resources and information for families of teens. Several support groups were represented, including the City of Santa Clarita's VIP Group, Action, and SCV Youth Project. Following the resource fair, Councilmember Lori Ender and Mayor Pro Tem Frank Ferry greeted the estimated 600 Santa Clarita residents in attendance. Dr. Tina Bryson was the keynote speaker and provided insight into the workings of the teen brain. The event lasted approximately 4 hours and concluded with a question and answer session. Teen Scene Unplugged is held once every September. If you missed it this go-around, tune in to SCV TV Channel 20 on Time Warner for the event to be replayed in its entirety. Right now, in our continuing focus on public art, we're going to take a look at the latest installment of the California Bear Project over at the Canyon Theater Guild.
We're here at the Canyon Theater Guild, and we're going to continue our focus on public art with the Canyon Theater Guild bear, and we're going to catch up with Frank Rock, the artist who painted that bear, in just a moment. First question I have is, what inspired you to create the various images that are here on the bear?
Well, it's indicative of our local history, and so it's one of several designs that I brought to the Canyon Theater Guild. And one would be our state's history, but they wanted more our local history and more our downtown history. So that's what I came up with the design there.
Any surprises? We talked a little bit earlier, and there's a couple things on the bottom of the bear. Can you talk about those?
Well, I grew up in the area, and I always loved the beautiful desert night skies here. So on the belly of the bear are the night skies with stars. Also, as a tribute to our soldiers, I've also painted the bricks, some of the bricks from our Veterans Memorial Park here, and to give an example of how we have memorialized them in downtown.
What type of paint? What was the materials used for the bear?
This was all acrylic, water-based paint, and after it was completed, the city put a coat of gloss, protective gloss on it, and protective graffiti coating.
And was there anything challenging the first time you saw the canvas that you would be working on? What did you think about working on a bear?
Well, this was about the biggest challenge I've had so far, with having to get the images without them getting distorted on the contour. I'm not working on a flat surface, I'm working on a contour, and some images you have to look at a certain angle to get the right perspective on it, otherwise they get distorted.
How long did it take you from start to finish? Were you completely done?
Roughly a little over a month, and I would do it after my day job. I'd do 3 hours, or on other days, on my days off, I'd work full 6 to 8 hours on it. Try to get one image done every time I was working on it.
And I think we touched on this a little bit, but if there's one message that you'd like to impart to people seeing the bear, what would that be?
Well, this is our local history. I like to touch on every part of what I grew up with in this valley. Our beautiful blue skies, our history of the film industry, the gold rush era back in the 1840s, our oil discovery history, transportation, it's all here.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of This Week in Santa Clarita. And don't forget that all of our shows are archived on the Media Central portion of the city's website at santa-clarita.com. For This Week in Santa Clarita, I'm Evan Thomason.
Did you know the first gold in California was discovered right here in the Santa Clarita Valley, long before Sutter's Mill? Did you know our valley was the birthplace of the California oil industry? Did you know that when Los Angeles joined the rest of the country by rail, the tracks came together in Santa Clarita? You might know we're a popular location for filming, but did you know we always have been? Learn all about Santa Clarita's fascinating history at scvhistory.com or visit the Saugus Train Station Museum in Old Town Newhall, weekends 1 to 4.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.